Parking your money in a fixed deposit feels exactly like this. You lock it up, you walk away, you tell yourself it's safe. But while you're sleeping, inflation is rust, and it's eating the frame. By the time you pull that money out in 10 years, it looks the same on paper. But the engine? Gone. If you have money sitting in a fixed deposit right now, this video is for you. Because what I'm about to show you will change how you think about safe investing forever. I'm Austin, and on this channel, we talk about building real wealth, not illusions of safety. So stick around. You want to know what a fixed deposit reminds me of? A W124 Mercedes sitting in a collector's garage. Now, I own one of these cars. Beautiful machine, built to last, completely reliable. On paper. But here's what happens when you never drive it. The seals dry out. The fuel goes stale. The brakes stick. The transmission fluid breaks down. The battery dies. You think you're preserving the car by keeping it safe in the garage. But you're actually destroying it. Safety without movement isn't preservation. It's slow decay. And that is exactly, and I mean exactly, what a fixed deposit does to your purchasing power. Your money looks the same when you pull it out, but the things it can actually buy, that's what's deteriorating.
Here's where the real problem starts, and I want you to pay attention to this part, because most people never see the leak until it's too late. A fixed deposit in 2026 is paying you somewhere between 4 and 5% annually. That sounds decent, right? Now, look at US inflation. Over the last 2 years, it's averaged around 3.5%. Do the math. 4.5% return minus 3.5% inflation. Your real gain? 1 point. 1. Let me say that again so it sinks in. You're earning 1% real return. That means if inflation bumps up even slightly, which it will, you're actually losing money in real terms. In gaming terms, your wealth XP is gaining 1 point per hour, but your cost of living debuff is pulling 0.9 points away every single hour. You are grinding for almost nothing. You're running in place and calling it progress. And here's what makes it worse. Your bank knows this. Banks love fixed deposits. You know why? Because they take your money, lend it out at 7, 8, sometimes 10%, and give you 4.5% back. They keep the spread. You keep the illusion of safety. Think about that. The bank is making 2 to 5 times the return you're getting, and you're the one taking zero risk. I'm not saying your bank is evil. I'm saying the house always knows the rules of the game better than the players. And right now, most people are playing without even reading the rule book. But before I show you the 3 alternatives, I need to be fair, because fixed deposits didn't become popular for no reason. Your parents trusted fixed deposits. Your grandparents swore by them. And honestly, for their era, it made sense. In the 1980s and 1990s, fixed deposit rates were sitting at 8, 10, sometimes 12%. Inflation was high, but so were the returns. The math actually worked. You could put money in a fixed deposit at 12%, inflation was running at 6%, and you're making 6% real return. That was actually a good investment. But that's not the world we're living in now. The rates dropped, the inflation stayed, and the product never came with an update, because the bank had no reason to tell you it needed one. Think about it. The bank benefits from you keeping money in fixed deposits. Why would they tell you it's a bad deal? If you've had money sitting in a fixed deposit, you're not stupid. You're not making a bad decision. You're just driving a car that was built for a different road. It's time to upgrade the buildup. So here are the 3 upgrades, in order of urgency. And I want you to think of each one as a component in your wealth engine. Not a replacement for the whole car, but an upgrade to a specific part. This is the easiest swap. Same look, better specs. A high-yield savings account, or HYSA, is doing what your fixed deposit pretends to do. It's paying 4.5 to 5% right now. But here's the part that changes everything. Your money isn't locked up. With a fixed deposit, you touch your money before the term ends, you get penalized. Could be a penalty of 3 months interest, could be more. It varies by bank. With a high SYA, you can move it whenever you need to. Full liquidity. Satisfied, no friction, no penalties. Think of it this way. A fixed deposit is a classic car in a museum. You can look but don't touch. A high-yield savings account is the same engine in a daily driver, actually available when you need it. This is where your emergency fund lives. 3 to 6 months of expenses sitting there, accessible immediately if something goes wrong. This is where your short-term cash parking lives. If you have money sitting in a standard savings account right now, making 0.5%, this is your upgrade. Not next month, not next week, today. That switch alone could mean hundreds more dollars a year.
Now we're getting into real performance territory. An index fund is a basket of stocks that tracks the overall market. You're not trying to pick the next Apple or Tesla. You're not timing the market. You're not being clever. You're buying the whole race. And historically, the S&P 500 has averaged about 10% annually over the last 30 years. I hear you already, but the market is risky. The market crashes. What if I buy and the market drops 50%? And I want to address that directly. There are two kinds of risk. There's volatility risk, the value going up and down in the short term. Index funds definitely have that. In 2008, the market dropped 50%. That's real. But there's another risk that nobody talks about, and it's actually more dangerous. It's purchasing power risk. That's money that stays the same number but buys less every single year. Fixed deposits carry purchasing power risk, and it's invisible, which makes it more dangerous. You can't see it. Your statement shows the same number, but inflation is eating away at what it can actually buy. You wouldn't leave a classic car in neutral on a slight hill and call it parked. At some point, the parking brake gives, and you didn't see it coming because the car looked still. The fire path requires real returns. 3% real gain per year is not a path to financial independence. It's a path to working until 70 and still not having enough. Risk isn't losing money in the short term. Risk is running out of purchasing power over 30 years. Keep that distinction. It changes everything about how you invest. Now, if you're not ready for the index fund conversation yet, and that's completely fine, this is your middle ground upgrade. I-bonds are issued directly by the US government. They're inflation adjusted. Right now, they're yielding around 4.3 to 4.7%. Same ballpark as a fixed deposit, but with one key difference. The return moves with inflation. If inflation goes up, your return goes up. If inflation goes down, it adjusts down. It's indexed to protect your purchasing power. Treasury bills work similarly. Short-term government-backed securities currently yielding around 4.5 to 5.1%, depending on the term. If you want the stability of a fixed deposit, but without the bank taking the spread, this is your upgrade path. Same safety profile, better mechanics under the hood.
Here's how these 3 upgrades fit into the FIRE framework. Financial independence, retire early. Step 1, emergency fund in an HYSA. 3 to 6 months of expenses. Liquid, accessible, done. This is your spare tire. You never drive without one. Step 2, every dollar beyond that emergency fund goes into index fund contributions. Consistent, automatic, every month. Don't time the market. Don't try to be clever. Just contribute. Step 3, never touch it. Let compounding do the engineering. The FIRE number, the amount you need to never work again, is typically 25 times your annual expenses. At a 4.5% fixed deposit return, reaching that number takes dramatically longer than at a 10% index fund return. We're talking the difference of a decade or more. That's not just money. That's years of freedom. That's years you could be doing what you actually want. The engine is the same goal. The fuel determines how fast you get there.
Here is your assignment. One task. Do it before the sun goes down today. Pull up your last bank statement. Find your interest rate. If it starts with a 0 or a 1, move that money to a high-yield savings account. That single move today is worth more than another month of research. You already know enough to make the right call. The only question is whether you will. That's the strategy. Simple. Built to last. Just like my W124. Subscribe for more wealth building strategies that actually work. See you on the road.